Welcome back. Turning to the U.S. bank fallout, markets digesting mixed messages on banking deposits from both Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Yellen said before the Senate that she has not considered or discussed blanket insurance to U.S. banking depositors without approval from Congress. That happened at approximately 3 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, just after Powell said that the banking system was safe. Here to cut through the noise and break down what this means for the financial system is Yahoo Finance's Ines Ferre. Ines.
Jared, and at the heart of this is really whether the U.S. government would consider making whole depositors that have the limit of more than $250,000 of the FDIC limit, like they did with SVB, like they did also with Signature Bank when regulators bailed out those banks. Now, the FOMC, at the FOMC presser yesterday, Jerome Powell said some comments to try to calm depositor concerns, saying we have the tools to protect depositors when there's a threat of serious harm to the economy or to the financial system. He went on to say that depositors should assume that their deposits are safe. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has testified recently, and her messaging has been a little bit more mixed, or walking a fine line, because on the one hand, she said comments like similar actions, referring to backstops, could be warranted if smaller institutions suffer deposit runs that pose the risk of contagion. But she has gone on to say, I have not considered or discussed anything having to do with blanket insurance or guarantees of all deposits. Now, this kind of jives also with an exchange that she had last week with Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who basically said, look, the small community banks in my state, what is to say that large depositors with more than $250,000 in those banks are not going to leave those banks? What type of treatment will you give those banks? And she basically said that the banks would get that treatment, the same treatment as SVB or Signature Bank, if they pose a systemic risk. And that is really what the market is concerned about, whether or not regulators will do something so that depositors over $250,000 will get their money, whether they're at a big bank or they're at a very small local bank. And the only ones that can do this is Congress. Congress is the one that has to act in order for that $250,000 limit to be upped. And so far, legislators have not moved the needle on that. So basically, you have Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell saying, look, the banking system is safe. No need to panic. Depositors are okay. But there is no guarantee that they will be okay regardless of the size of their bank.
It sounds like lots of gray area and operation in between. And as always, nuance matters. So thank you for that, Yahoo Finance's Ines Ferre.